Pisces. July 2026 becomes a month of joy, creativity, romance, and the gradual creation of a new lifestyle that feels more aligned with who you're becoming. For most of the month, the sun moves through your fifth house. This brings your attention to self-expression, creativity, romance, children, passion projects, pleasure, and everything that reminds you what it feels like to truly enjoy life. After some of the heavier themes you've been navigating in recent months, July offers a chance to reconnect with inspiration. There is a renewed desire to spend time on what you love, invest energy in your talents, and give yourself permission to pursue what genuinely excites you. For many Pisces, this month feels like a return to themselves. Meanwhile, Jupiter is now traveling through Leo and your sixth house. A new 12-year cycle begins through work, professional development, health, daily routines, and lifestyle improvements. Gradually, new possibilities begin to emerge for improving working conditions, strengthening your well-being, increasing efficiency, and creating a more supportive rhythm of life. Jupiter in Leo wants visibility. It wants confidence. It wants you to step onto the stage instead of standing quietly in the background. The tendency to downplay your talents becomes harder to maintain under this influence. Over the next year, many Pisces will significantly improve their quality of life through practical decisions, healthier habits, and meaningful professional developments. July also features Mercury retrograde moving through Cancer and your fifth house. Matters involving love, creativity, children, and personal projects require extra attention. Old romantic stories may resurface. Creative ideas that were abandoned months or even years ago may return with fresh relevance. Rather than representing a setback, Mercury is helping you rediscover something that still has value. The first half of July helps you reconnect with your desires. The second half begins showing how inspiration can become tangible results. Let's look at the month in more detail. July 2. Venus forms an aspect to Black Moon Lilith, while Mars interacts with the lunar nodes. Themes involving love, creativity, career, and personal fulfillment come into focus. Black Moon Lilith occupies your 10th house, bringing greater awareness to your ambitions, reputation, and professional goals. Certain events may reveal what success truly means to you. Venus shifts attention toward home, family, emotional comfort, and the foundations that support your life. This period asks an important question: what are you working toward, and why? Conversations and experiences now help you see the longer-term picture more clearly. You may realize that fulfillment and achievement are not always the same thing. July 4th, Mars joins Uranus in your fourth house. This is one of the most dynamic transits of the month. Unexpected developments involving home, family, real estate, or living arrangements are possible. There may be a sudden desire to renovate, relocate, rearrange your environment, or break free from old emotional patterns connected to the past. Life has a way of creating movement when something has remained stagnant for too long. Events unfolding now may encourage important decisions involving your personal life and your sense of belonging. This transit creates space for a new chapter to begin. July 5th, Mars forms a harmonious aspect to Pluto. For Pisces, this creates a connection between the 4th house and the 12th house. An inner issue that has quietly required attention may finally begin resolving itself. Old emotional attachments become easier to release. Past experiences lose their power over the present. This is a wonderful day for personal healing, meaningful family conversations, clearing emotional clutter, and creating greater peace within your environment. It's also favorable for discussions involving relocation, international moves, retreats, spiritual travel, or creating a more private and restorative living situation. Certain choices made now bring a profound sense of liberation. July 6th, the Sun forms a challenging aspect to Saturn. This activates the axis connecting your 5th house and your 2nd house. A balance must be found between desire and practicality. Love, creativity, children, entertainment, or personal passions may require financial resources or a more structured approach. This transit helps reveal which dreams are worth investing in. Rather than limiting your choices, Saturn helps prioritize them. The result is a stronger connection between your values and your actions. July 7th, Neptune begins its retrograde journey in your 2nd house. A period of reflection begins around money, self-worth, personal values, and financial security. Over the coming months, you'll gain a deeper understanding of what truly creates stability in your life. Certain goals may no longer feel meaningful, others become increasingly important. Gradually, you'll separate genuine priorities from expectations that never truly belong to you. What remains is a clearer sense of your own value and a stronger relationship with what matters most. July 9th, Venus enters Virgo and moves into your 7th house. This begins a particularly supportive period for relationships, partnerships, and collaboration. People become a source of encouragement, support, and meaningful progress. There is a stronger desire to create harmony, strengthen important connections, and find common ground with others. Whether in love, business, or friendship, relationships become more intentional. This is also an excellent time for negotiations, agreements, contracts, and strengthening alliances that already exist. The details matter now. The more thoughtfully you approach communication, the stronger the bond becomes. July 11. Venus joins the South Node in your 7th house. Someone from the past may reappear. An old relationship dynamic may resurface. A conversation you've needed for a long time may finally happen. This transit often brings closure, understanding, or a new perspective on an old story. It helps you see which connections still belong in your future and which ones have already served their purpose. Sometimes moving forward requires seeing the past through a different lens. July 13. The Sun joins retrograde Mercury in your 5th house. This marks one of the most important moments of the Mercury retrograde cycle. Answers begin emerging regarding love, creativity, children, personal projects, or matters close to your heart. Something that has felt uncertain begins making more sense. You gain greater insight into your own desires and motivations. However, Mercury remains retrograde. This is a time for understanding, reviewing, and observing, rather than rushing toward final decisions. Later that day, Venus forms a challenging aspect to Uranus. For Pisces, this activates the axis between the 7th house of relationships and the 4th house of home and family. Unexpected developments involving family, living arrangements, or domestic matters may require adjustments within a relationship. A conversation could completely change your perspective on a partnership. Flexibility becomes invaluable. The willingness to adapt often reveals solutions that were previously invisible. July 14. A new moon in Cancer lights up your 5th house. A new chapter begins involving romance, creativity, self-expression, children, or a deeply personal project. This is one of the most inspiring lunations of the year for Pisces. Something new wants to be born. A relationship may begin. A creative vision may finally take shape. A personal dream may start feeling real enough to pursue. This new moon restores enthusiasm, inspiration, and a sense that life is becoming colorful again. It reminds you that joy is not a distraction from your purpose, it is part of your purpose. July 18. Uranus forms a harmonious aspect to Pluto. For you, this links the 4th house and the 12th house. Changes in external circumstances help release old internal limitations. Questions involving home, family, relocation, living arrangements, and emotional foundations begin directly influencing your sense of freedom. A chapter that has lingered for years may finally reach completion. Unexpected relocation plans or unconventional living ideas could emerge. There is a growing sense that the past is losing its grip on the future. What once felt impossible begins feeling surprisingly attainable. July 19. Mars forms an aspect to Saturn. This is where inspiration meets practicality. Family matters, financial concerns, stability, and long-term planning require thoughtful attention. Progress may seem slower than you prefer, but there is wisdom in moving deliberately. The decisions made now create structure. They create security. They create something lasting. This is an excellent day for financial planning, household decisions, and building stronger foundations for the future. July 20. Jupiter forms a challenging aspect to Pluto, while simultaneously creating a harmonious aspect to Neptune. Jupiter is moving through your 6th house, opening a new cycle connected to work, health, productivity, and daily routines. You may feel inspired to improve your work environment, become more efficient, and create healthier habits. Yet Pluto suggests that certain fears, limitations, or outdated patterns must first be released. Something in your inner world is ready to change. Neptune helps illuminate your values and supports a healthier relationship with both money and self-worth. This transit has the potential to reshape your vision of what a stable and fulfilling life truly looks like. Sometimes the biggest changes begin with the smallest daily decisions. July 22nd, the Sun enters Leo in your 6th house. After several weeks focused on love, creativity, and personal fulfillment, attention begins shifting toward practical matters. Work becomes more important. Health requires attention. Productivity becomes a central theme. What makes this especially significant is that the Sun joins Jupiter in the same area of your chart. As a result, the second half of July becomes one of the most promising periods of the year for professional development. New projects may appear. Helpful connections emerge. Working conditions improve. Recognition becomes easier to attract. This is also a time to step into greater visibility within your professional life. Jupiter in Leo wants you to be seen. The spotlight is available if you're willing to walk toward it. July 23rd. Mercury stations direct. Questions involving love, creativity, children, and personal projects begin moving forward again. What felt uncertain starts making sense. Your confidence in your desires returns. Creative plans regain momentum. Relationship matters become easier to understand. The path ahead appears much clearer than it did only a few weeks ago. July 27. The Sun forms an opposition to Pluto while simultaneously creating a harmonious aspect to Neptune. The Sun is traveling through your 6th house, while Pluto continues its work through your 12th house. What has been hidden beneath the surface begins to reveal itself. The source of lingering stress, exhaustion, self-doubt, or recurring patterns becomes easier to identify. This transit has a remarkable way of exposing habits, obligations, and behaviors that quietly drain your energy. The goal isn't self-criticism, it's awareness. Once you see what's no longer supporting your well-being, you can begin releasing it. Neptune helps soften the process. Rather than forcing change, you're encouraged to approach yourself with compassion and honesty. Healing becomes possible because you're finally willing to look at the truth. On the same day, Saturn begins its retrograde journey in Aries. For Pisces, this opens an important period of reflection around finances, self-worth, personal resources, and your relationship with security. Over the coming months, you'll gain a deeper understanding of what deserves your investment, both financially and emotionally. Saturn helps you distinguish between temporary desires and lasting value. The result is a stronger foundation for the future you're building. July 29. A full moon in Aquarius illuminates your 12th house. This is one of the most introspective and meaningful moments of the month. Emotions that have been hidden beneath the surface rise into awareness. Insights arrive. Patterns that were difficult to recognize suddenly become obvious. Questions involving solitude, healing, spirituality, distant places, foreign connections, retreats, or private matters may also reach an important turning point. This full moon helps you release the past. Something that has been unfolding internally for months is ready to come full circle. Many Pisces will feel that an old chapter is ending. What no longer belongs in your future begins naturally falling away. And on this same day, one of the most powerful alignments of the month takes place. The Sun joins Jupiter in your 6th house. This is a beautiful signature for professional development, meaningful progress, and improvements in daily life. New responsibilities may arrive. A promising work offer could appear. Career momentum begins building. You may discover better systems, healthier routines, or more rewarding ways to use your talents. The changes you've been making over recent months begin producing visible results. And the truth is, this is only the beginning. There is far more potential unfolding here than you can fully see today. Pisces, July becomes a month of returning to yourself, reconnecting with your desires, and rediscovering what truly matters. The first half of the month focuses on love, creativity, children, personal projects, and matters of the heart. Mercury retrograde encourages reflection rather than urgency. A relationship, creative vision, or forgotten dream may deserve a second chance. Something from the past could reveal new value when viewed through fresh eyes. The second half of July becomes more practical and productive. The Sun and Jupiter in your 6th house open a new chapter through work, health, lifestyle improvements, and the choices you make every day. Venus moving through your 7th house strengthens relationships and supports more harmonious interactions with others. The full moon in your 12th house closes an important inner cycle, helping you release what no longer belongs in your future. July reminds you that meaningful progress begins when you stop living in yesterday's story and allow yourself to move toward what is calling you next. Your greatest strength right now is your ability to combine inspiration with action. Dreams become powerful when they are supported by consistent effort. Have a wonderful July, dear Pisces.